In this video, I'm going to be showing you a presentation on online arbitrage sourcing I did with a paid group of resellers that I had the pleasure to present to a few nights ago. It's about a 45-minute long presentation. There's a lot of good Q&A and discourse about how to actually scale an online arbitrage business. So I hope you stick around. Hope you watch it all the way through. If you're brand new to the channel, my name is Miles. I'm a 23-year-old full-time Amazon seller. I know a little bit about online arbitrage, about 2.1 million in sales the last 12 months. So that's what I talk about on my channel. I post 3 videos a week, so I hope you consider subscribing. Let's jump into my screen and the presentation.
We usually do 2 a month. This is the third here, second in a week, basically. And this was born out of questions given to myself, Alexis, Sarah, Tracy, born out of our office hours. A lot of people asking a lot of sourcing questions, but I also got a lot of questions lately about SellerAmp. And, it's kind of a newer thing on the block in terms of, it's been around a little while, but, it's really gotten super popular lately. And it's a pretty powerful thing. So reached out to Miles, who's actually one of the owners of SellerAmp. So wanted to bring him on, ask him some questions, and do a demo. So Miles, thanks for joining us.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, guys. I'm a big fan of your guys' stuff. You guys got those beautiful orange bars, so no place I would rather be. You got just building bars together and all that. So absolutely.
Awesome. What kind of drew me to Miles? He's on Twitter, and I'm, kind of on Twitter as well, certainly not to his level. But I always like, whether it's on his podcast or in his content, there's a lot of people on Twitter that they make this seem super easy. And Miles always stops and says, no, like, this is hard work. Like, you have to work. And I really appreciate that. I like that point of view. Miles, could you just go through quickly kind of your background a little bit? You're a seller on Amazon, things like that. Just a little bit about your sales journey.
Yeah, so I actually have been selling stuff online and making content online for actually over 10 years at this point. I started in 2011, basically. I was talking all about Legos and stuff, making Legos with friends and everything online, and actually naturally was really attracted to trading and bartering and different stuff like that. Did that for a couple years, all types of conventions and stuff like that. And in 2014, so after a few years of doing that, one of the kids I was doing the Lego stuff with started wearing these really nice shoes. And I was like, dude, like, how are you doing that? Basically, he's like, oh, I've been trading and reselling shoes, kind of the same way we do with Lego, just on a larger scale. So I got into that, sold a first pair I bought for 160 for 220, pretty much the exact same way I make a living today, just on different platforms at the time. That kid subsequently ended up scamming me out of $500 at the time. Luckily, I wasn't really doing it to make money, so it didn't make a difference to me because the goal wasn't to make money. It was just something I naturally liked doing, essentially. And then did that from 2014 to 2017 on like Facebook groups and stuff like that. Eventually switched over to StockX and Goat and different apps like that let me scale a little bit because there was no individual buyer interaction. And it was scam proof because the way those platforms work is you send it to them after you've sold it and they authenticate it and then send it to the buyer. So it's completely scam proof and it's all authentic goods and everything like that. And that's when I kind of started trying to make money with it. Probably did like my best month, I think was like, it's either like 5,100 to like 4,800. I just turned 20 at the time. So it was like, a little bit of money just getting going with it. And everything. And my two best buddies from freshman year of college, or 2 out of the 3 best, transferred. So I had nothing to do besides make money, essentially, that second year of college right there. And then had that first big month in 2018. Algorithms started working better, started reading some business books, started seeing some YouTube videos about people doing stuff on Amazon. I remember it was October 2018. I was thinking to myself, I was like, damn, these guys are really selling books on Amazon and all this other stuff. Like, I ought to look into that. And then summer 2019, I was an unpaid internship. It was like required for my degree or whatever. So I was between sophomore year and junior year of school. And I was just bored. I was living by myself in my college town. So it was pretty boring day to day when I wasn't at work doing stuff. And eventually just like, why don't I give that book thing a go? And I was already building Flips for Miles at the time. So I was already following Amazon sellers, getting to know some Amazon sellers, stuff like that, because I thought that was a natural next step. The key or the problem was no one knew how to get gated back in the day, or at least no one was telling me. And I was pretty like decently tapped into the community and everything. And so I kind of did books for like a year and a half or so, mid to late 2019, and then through 2020. And obviously stuff happened that made it so I couldn't get inventory because I was just doing thrift stores and stuff like that. So I didn't really end up doing much the rest of 2020, but I was still following a lot of Amazon sellers because I was just like on Instagram and then eventually Twitter and everything, and knew people were doing pretty well with the reselling stuff. At least on Amazon. I was still doing the shoes and everything like that. And then basically just got a DM in February 2021, like just learned how to get the ungating. And then I did Nike, Adidas, Under Armour that week. And then by I think March, I did like 31K of sales. So it was like basically zero to like that. And then like pretty quickly, because it was just like living and breathing. I was done college at the time. So it was like now is now or never. Like I knew I was going to make a business work. I didn't know what though. And then that ended up being the one that working. And then so I started pretty much February 2021, 30 in March, 40 in April, 60 in July, 100 in August, and then 200 November, 300 December, and kind of here, obviously a little lower than that in terms of a volume perspective. But yeah, about 1.1, 1.2 in sales year to date on that, doing strictly online arbitrage. I know you guys do some retail, which is pretty cool. And I'd actually love to hear about how you guys scale with that, because it's obviously super impressive stuff and everything. But yeah, just doing all online arbitrage, co-own our software tool, SellerAmp, right here. Got a Discord, some education stuff we do as well. So excited to chop it up with you guys about some of this stuff, definitely. But that was a little indication, or a little small blurb into the, I guess, the 10-year story of me selling stuff online and talking about it as much as possible to meet different people and everything like that.
For sure, for sure. I think the vast majority of questions, I know you get a ton of questions, and our questions we get, there's people that just kind of ask how to get started. But beyond that, most of the questions are about sourcing, right? You mentioned you're all OA. Sourcing is the lifeblood of all of our businesses, right? You have to buy product to make money. That's when we make money, is on the buy. Kind of talk about how you got started with SellerAmp and what SellerAmp is.
Yeah. So basically, in December, they sponsored our Discord, and it went pretty well and everything. And I still hadn't seen it, even after we did the sponsorship. I took a look at it. It was, we were talking about building some software or something like that, trying to get involved. And it was perfectly what aligned with it. Basically, it's all in one. So we got the website where you can break down products. We got the Chrome extension on the actual Amazon seller page. We'll just take a look at it in a few minutes. Then the mobile app for retail arbitrage. So basically, it helps can you sell it? Does it sell, and is it profitable, all in a nice UI, and then ultimately helps you find more items, because a lot of people think we're just a profit calculator, but we'll take a look at all of it. The reverse sourcing feature, that was pretty much all I did sourcing wise. I did a little bit of TA a year ago and everything, but since last June, so 2021, I've pretty much just been all reverse sourcing, and SellerAmp makes that a lot easier. So I'd probably be further along if I knew about it prior. But yeah, so profit calculator, web app, and then Chrome extension and mobile app, actually. So for retail arbitrage, wholesale, all in arbitrage, if you're buying low, selling high, it's a tool that definitely helps you, all arbitrage sellers.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd first heard about it, and Sarah actually in the group here put a little video together and sent us about the reverse sourcing aspect of it. And so I saw that, I said, okay, this is different. This is good. And, got a subscription, got into it, and been using it, from there on. If you want to go ahead and get your screen going, Miles, and we can
let's do it. Yeah, so we'll
the basics, and then we'll get into some of the sourcing parts of it.
Absolutely, yes. We'll do a little breakdown of everything right in here. So I'm gonna hop on screen share. So we're starting out at a search for great value items. Why are we starting out a search for great value items? Because when you're doing some reverse sourcing, reverse sourcing is basically we'll go through all of it, looking inside stores of other sellers, seeing what they're carrying, what makes sense from our velocity and pricing perspective, items we basically want to look for. So identifying items we would like to sell, and then going and looking for those items properly. So just starting off in this great value search right here, we're going to take a look at and open up a couple of these listings. Why specifically am I doing great value right here? Because great value is a Walmart private label brand, and therefore it is stuff we want to look for. So it appears there's not really any great value dish soap. I don't know, there's an option on the search, but I guess we'll do coffee pods right here. So just coming through the search, going to open up some of these, not necessarily looking for these items properly, more so looking for some stores that match us in the terms of, if they're selling this, we know they're an arbitrage seller. So then other stuff they're carrying is probably stuff we're going to end up looking to carry right here. So we'll just jack up a couple of these items, talk through how SellerAmp helps with that, as well as then looking for more items right here. So we'll open up 4 here and get a sense of it. So immediately, once I come right here, we can see over to the right what the UI of SellerAmp actually looks like. So basically, initially, right up here, we'll pull one that has a sales rank right here. Yeah, here we go, right? So just on this, We can come over immediately on the right. You can, I actually didn't know about this recently, but you can zoom it around right here. Were you guys aware of that?
I did not know. I haven't.
Yeah, neither was I, man.
That's
Until
nice.
literally till like a few days ago. Yeah, you can make it like really big right here. And everything. Typically, I'd like to just have it big on the right here. So yeah, so we can see the BSR, the estimated sales, as well as a max cost based on what we'd look to ultimately pay for it based on profit criteria you'd put in the back end. Scrolling down right here, we can see all the ranks and prices right here, the 30, the 90 day, the 180 day, all of that. Big thing is mainly just looking at the rank, the percentage based on it for the most part in terms of what people are looking at, as well as whether or not Amazon's on it. Because you shouldn't even, especially when we get in the reverse sourcing side of things, for the most part, I'm not a fan of competing with Amazon. What are your thoughts on this in terms of competing with Amazon? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I don't mind it personally. I'll usually check the buy box statistics, and if they're sharing the buy box at any decent rate at all, I'm totally fine with it. Now, if they're not, or if it's 99% Amazon, unless the rank's amazing, I will generally pass. Especially if Amazon's staying in stock pretty consistently. If they're going in and out, I'll jump on it. But if they're in stock and they're not really sharing the buy box, I'll move on to something else.
And that's what I love about this stuff is, and you and I both do pretty decent numbers and different strategies. You know what I mean? Like I want to make it very clear in all this. My way is not the only way. Tons of ways to win with this stuff. And exactly, good. Love that perspective on it. So yeah, we can come down here as well as seeing different alerts, which obviously makes sense. It's unlikely private label. That's mainly due to there being a bunch of other sellers and the brand. Obviously on here, IP analysis, no known IP issues. That's obviously big as well. We'd see that in here on alerts if that were the case, if there were suspected IPs. Another section of it I really, really like is looking down here at the competing offers. This is big in terms of opening up other storefronts right here. We'll get to that in a second right here. And then there's just some kind of more medial information down here that's not super important. Also want to mention sourcing workflow. Pretty cool feature. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Google Sheets integration right here. So you can easily export, or your virtual assistant can export leads to a shared Google Sheet, which kind of simplifies everything you add in like criteria and everything like that. But the big thing is ultimately the profit calculator, as well as seeing a little bit of the keep it here. You'd obviously want to check this as well right here, of which you can see all the 3 months, all of this right here, and then ultimately taking a look at the competition right here. So say this product does meet our velocity requirements, which it wouldn't really on mine. It's in a little bit over 1%, but either way, right? It's as simple as, instead of what I used to do, which was just copy and paste into Google, just clicking the one click Google right here, taking a look. We want to pay in like the $9 range for this and everything. We just hop to Google Shopping right here, not really seeing the one that matches in terms of a profitable price right here, because that's $16.72. We lose 25%. So probably not an item that would fit it. We can probably all agree on that. Not an item that would fit our criteria on this. But ultimately, we know this is an arbitrage product, and therefore I'm going to go ahead and open up some of these storefronts so we can go look for more items right here. So just clicking up. Typically, just like to do the FBA seller. Some people get a little specific and typically only open up people with a certain amount of reviews. I'm curious if you guys do that. Or you just open up?
So the offers portion is one of my favorite portions of SellerAmp for a couple reasons. One, I love to see what other people have in stock, and I don't have to go to Keep It to see that. Right, it's all right here on the same page.
Stock counts.
We'll sell some stuff that the ranks like aren't super great, but if I see someone with a ton of stock, I generally, especially if it's a big seller, right, with a ton of reviews, they might dominate the buy box. I'll move on from that. But the reverse sourcing. So there's certain things, especially for us with some of our retail arbitrage. There's some products we have. I posted one on Twitter the other day. I think you replied to it, that product we had that sold like 12,000 in the last 12 months. That's an in-store exclusive product. So if I find that, right, then there's a couple different listings it's on, and I go and look at the sellers, I know where that seller's getting that product. I can look in their store. I know what other products are in that store. And there's a ton of things where I can see, boy, I've walked by that in the aisle how many times, and this store selling it, that store selling it. Next time I'm in the store, I better take a look at it, right? So I kind of use it that way to, reverse source with people that are selling the same things I am, kind of the same strategies I have. What else are they on that I'm missing where I can grow my business?
Yeah, I also want to mention a couple more features. One actually new as of late. We also have the merchant field calculator right here, as well as small and light, if eligible, would pop. It was something we added, I think, a month or so ago right there to accommodate for a lot of wholesale sellers that use our tool right here. All right, the meat and bones of the presentation, getting into actually reverse source. So this is kind of the defensive profit calculator, looking at the competition, all that. The offensive side of SellerAmp is actually taking a look at people's catalogs right here, which I love checking out right here, which a lot of people actually don't know about because they normally just see us all flexing different leads with the UI screenshots we all love posting on Twitter right here. So taking a look inside someone's catalog right here. So right off the bat, the first places my eyes are looking are the ASIN count. The review count you probably already saw if you clicked on it. The ASIN count's big. I'll personally just like click off someone's store for the most part if they have like, I don't know, even like 500 ASINs. It's just going to be too much to look through. I'm a big fan, however, of focusing on specific categories, specific brands, and the filtering here really helps in taking a look and clicking into specific brands, specific categories right here. So say you're a toy seller. You could come on people's stores and filter to the toys and games, different stuff right here, of which pretty low ASP on a lot of that stuff right here. Same thing with pet supplies, health and household, grocery, gourmet food, all this kind of stuff, right? So the layer of deductions is ultimately getting in stores that you know are similar size, similar business model, and then ultimately going out and looking for those items profitably here. So just kind of get a sense. You can see people have vastly different catalogs and ASIN counts, all this kind of stuff right here. This guy's like pretty much brand new right here, so we probably would just click off him. Same thing with this person, only one review right here. But these guys, we all know they're making money because we can see their review counts. They're smart. If they're selling these items, they're doing it to make money. And if those fit our criteria from a velocity perspective and a profitability perspective, which velocity we can easily filter out, just taking a look at different sales ranks right here, and then it's ultimately going out and finding those items profitably. So I'm actually not familiar. You ever heard of this brand, Greenbrier or Mainstay right here?
Mainstay, yes. Greenbrier, no. I've never sold any Greenbrier stuff.
Really cheap right here. Are the ranks?
Sure.
The ranks are pretty good though.
All
yeah,
right.
7K right there. Yeah, not bad. What a Mainstay right here. Interesting. So like some different stuff right here. Yeah.
The brand section is really cool.
Yeah.
Kind of the same idea. I try to use this to see like, hey, what am I missing? Like we sell a lot of beauty products and you look at other sellers that you see just come up over and over and over in the listings you're on. And then you go to the brands, like I know it was maybe a few months ago, we looked and like, I'm looking at all these high volume beauty sellers and almost every single one, the top brand was Clinique. And we sell some Clinique, but not a ton of Clinique. And so then all of a sudden I start thinking, okay, like I'm missing something with Clinique. Like I've got to dig deeper into that brand. All these guys are on it. You know, there's something more there that I just haven't gotten to yet.
I was taking a look. I was going to say this is the cheapest mattress in the world, but it's a mattress protector right there. Okay. So yeah, so we're trying to pay in like the $11 range right here. Not sure if we so we do have a picture of the actual packaging right here, of which Mainstay's waterproof EVA.
That's a Walmart
private label brand. That's what I was thinking too. Yeah. Yeah, think on that. Oh, Greenbrier's dollar store, isn't it? Okay, so that would make sense why everything was so cheap right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, my bad, Greenbrier right here. Yeah, so like this all stuff probably small and light. That max cost -41. But here, someone has to pay you to take it. Right here, yeah. So that's not going to fit. Mainly looking for, obviously, we all have specific types of items we like, right? You guys mentioned you're a lot of beauty stuff. I'm mainly shoes, clothing, apparel, that kind of stuff. So that's where I'd like to operate. The nice thing is, and this actually kind of lends to really the need to build the skill, right? That you're not going to be able to just rely on tools. A lot of good sellers catalogs really don't change too often, because they're just like, rinse and repeating new inventory through and everything like that. When you get variations involved, it gets a little confusing on everything, but that's ultimately, what really makes the money is getting a good sense that, Dollar Tree. Yeah, that would make sense, especially based on the ASPs of that stuff right here. We can take a look, we can see some Trader Joe's action right here. Some of this stuff I could imagine being profitable right here. 23, well, everything probably is to some people depending on their cost, but ultimately it would be then finding stuff. OA would be the challenge right here. So 2-pack coconut butter right here. This is probably a bundle right here, 25 from Amazon. Not going to work right here. Seen is on any just any searches right here. These aren't, the packaging isn't matching right here. Just kind of shotgun up a bunch of listings. I'm seeing if anything with a decent ASP. Personally, do you guys sell anything under like 10, 15 bucks?
We have, yes. So small and light, when it got raised to $10,
Yeah.
became a lot more attractive, right? Because then you know, stuff that's in that like $2 range, it was kind of iffy at $8, but at 10, you know, if the volume's good, absolutely, you know, and it's easy to prep.
Yeah.
You know, we do a decent amount of that. Our average sale is close to $30. So not high by any means, but we don't do a lot of shoes and clothing. We're mostly beauty, toys.
Yeah.
But yeah, small and light is I like it a lot.
Sweet. Yeah, right here. I think we got a profitable item right here. So these oh no, I think this oh, it's just barely off. It was definitely close, and that would have been profitable.
They just so that they just changed the packaging to that black top, because the gold tops we've sold, I don't want to say thousands, but probably thousands of those. This is a pretty popular bolo.
Oh, wow. See, and that's a thing too. I had no idea about that. You know what I mean? This is super profitable right here. Yeah, 10, especially a bundle. I don't really do too many bundles myself, but at that, ever was in like the 20 range, definitely profitable right there. Cool. Yeah, so we'll keep rocking and rolling. Dr. Teal's. Yeah, so that must be a Walmart private label brand as well then.
That one is that one you can get pretty much anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Walmart does sell it. It's on Walmart shelves, but it you can find it at a lot of places. But yeah, a lot of Dr. Teal stuff, bundles, multis. There's a lot of good options with Dr. Teal's.
Yeah, what's interesting, I've really never sold any bundles. That's something I've clearly been sleeping on here. So we got 16 floral ounce, 27 right here, 32. That definitely doesn't work right here. 7. If you bundle these together, these 16 ounce, he's gonna end up being definitely close right here. I'd be Vita cost 16 and 16, so it's not quite, definitely close though. 27.
So if you're sourcing, Miles, and you come across something like this, it's close, right? And maybe you're a seller that already sells something like this, or you know, we have Vita cost here, we have Walgreens. Is this something that you'll look and say, I'm going to put this on some sort of list, and next time there's a good sale, right, I've got a 25-30% off Walgreens, or you know, a similar thing at Vita cost, will I grab that when it's on sale, or is this something you'll just kind of pass up and go to the next thing?
Yeah, so that's what the Google Sheets feature is great, is actually exporting that to a sheet to look back on the future. What while you were mentioning that, I was actually hopping into VitaCost to dig for a coupon, of which, assuming no exclusions, this actually is going to end up being profitable right here with this 20% off right here.
Yeah.
Assuming there's not exclusions on it, this becomes 15. Not a huge fan of public math, something around 12 in terms of the buy cost right here. We'll call it like 13 right here. That does end up being profitable right here, 30%. Not great volume right here, but definitely if you need items, pretty low competition as well right there. So that's my thesis. Now, I'm curious on your end, what percentage of the stuff you guys buy coupons are used on? Because have pretty much everything I buy has coupons on. So that's a topic we can dive into.
Yeah, I mean, you know, any way you can, I call it like making money before the buy, whether it's discounted gift cards, coupons.
Yeah.
You know, some people count their credit card rewards, things like that, cash back. There's a million different ways to kind of, you know, get some ROI before the actual purchase. And items like this, where, you know, it's a bundle. It's not just like a straight UPC match where it's easy.
Big, huge.
Find it, right? Yeah. TAs on it.
Huge. Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. There's the keepa's a little steadier generally, right? Just less people end up on these listings because it just takes a little more work to actually, you know, harvest them.
Yeah, and you're rewarded in that work with typically less competition, more replenishability, and more benefit over the long term as well on that. So yeah, another example right here. So these are actually out of stock right now. This is the kind of thing I would, you know, either get in my head again on a spreadsheet right here. A couple of these combinations, these bundles of this item right here does end up being profitable with that 20% off on there, as long as, you know, that comes up. And the only way I found that was getting curious in terms of actually clicking into the website right there. And I think that's good example of why being curious, you know, ends up, you know, being helpful for this kind of stuff. Absolutely. 20% off right in there. Yeah, we can hop in there. So that, I mean, a lot of those ended up being profitable, especially with that 20%. Does VitaCost do tax exempt?
You know, I don't actually know. I've ordered a few things from there, but not a lot.
Yeah, I'd have to take a look.
Not totally sure. But on this item, you know, I think when I'm sourcing or Alexa and I are sourcing, anytime something is close and it just feels right, as you do this enough and you do enough, kind of, you know, get an idea of what has that look to it and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Something close. Generally, there's something there, like with the brand or, I just try to, like you did, get in the website, poke around a little bit. You're on Method here. A lot of Method stuff's good. That Scrub Daddy thing you have above there is also probably pretty good.
Sweet. Yeah, that ranks incredible on that. Yeah, 3K rank right here. Another SellerAmp feature. I haven't even been in this section of it too much myself. We got just kind of disgusting amount of data right here. It's beautiful in terms of breaking down specific stuff and thinking over the long term, any extra data. Interesting. Yeah. So I can see when I previously looked at it. So I came across this in April by the looks of it and didn't end up buying any, but I've clearly seen. And just to get a sense of the long-term nature stuff, we'll take a look at the Keepa compared to when I originally looked at it compared to now. Right here. So I was back in, it was like early April, it looked like. So it was way lower when I first looked at it. And at certain points, it's been literally double the price. Gives you a sense of the long-term nature, how the market can change on different items as we go around right here. And so I actually really like that VitaCost example showing the actual, the couponability of different stuff, right? So in terms of finding coupons, that's obviously the difficult part. The nice thing is if you are able to find coupons, they tend to be good for a while, definitely on that. Can you show us the export feature to Google Sheets /process feature? Yeah, so we can take a look at that. So right here, so I've always had my sourcing really systematized and I kind of use my own sheets to be honest. But right here, if we just click export right here, we can see, I think I have one attached right here. Yes, then it would just populate, I guess, right here. Yeah. So take you to the Google Sheets, show you what's actually in it. And then in terms of different stuff, setting up multiple is really helpful as well right here. It just pulls it straight to a sheet you then have independently right here. Can only one Google Sheets get attached? I'm pretty sure you can actually have multiple, and I would definitely actually recommend having multiple for like seasonal types of items, buy list, maybe in the future, all that kind of stuff. But I actually haven't personally dove too deep in terms of connecting the Google Sheets because I've kind of just had a sourcing system for over a year at this point that served me very well in terms of actually scaling out my my inventory spend. And for whatever reason, this probably is even a negative in terms of moving forward. I've just kept it the same since then. But yeah, definitely getting attached. To my knowledge, you can have multiple. You could have a bunch of different ones here right there. You name multiple Google Sheets. It's super helpful. Yeah, exactly. Right. So yeah, different ones, like for example, right, like Halloween's coming up, right? Say you're sourcing seasonal, or you want to have one for toys for the coming months and everything. I know you guys are loading up on toys, definitely from those beautiful bars last year on that. So that's an example of one right there. And then ultimately isn't profitable, but maybe in the future, all that kind of stuff can be situated on that. Definitely. If you have more than one person sourcing, I feel like multiple sheets would be helpful. Yeah, especially for VAs, because some people have multiple VAs on their own SellerAmp account that are sourcing, so you can track how they're performing, right? Compare. You can even check the number of scans they're running in different items they're taking a look at, ultimately checking in your history, right? To get a sense of what all they're moving right here. And yeah, this is pretty much how it's done right here. Just chopping wood, blocking and tackling, right? Taking a look at different listings, breaking them down, going, and actually looking for them profitably in Google Sheets right here. This right here is a super popular item as well. Right here, it's a 2-pack though. We got a merch filled buy box. That's always a good sign in terms of profitability right here. And we can see, interesting. Yeah, take a look at that competition right there. March 15th, it had 4 people. And April 4th, it had 75, and now it has half that, right? And the volume's great. Like, once you get sub 10K rank, like the volume's really is crazy on. Can we talk about the app for phone in-store scanning? It is only available on Android. If yes, they're planned out to iPhone. Yeah, so it's actually in beta, and you can download it via, I think it's called Test Flight. There's instructions on our website in terms of getting it downloaded. But yeah, you can basically just scan items, see the profitability in-store. And everything, and get some of that advanced data you wouldn't normally from the Amazon Seller app right here. Q from Facebook. Can you go over more how we can look to see what our VAs have looked at / the history? Yeah. So within the settings, you can take a look at all the different items you've looked to and the quantity of it. I'm not going to pull that up just because it would show, like, I've sourced some on my own today, so it would probably, show some items. But on the back end of it, you would be able to see all the different stuff you've taken a look at on different stuff. And like, I think mine was like 3,000 items in like the last month or something like that. So I've really been getting after it. I just use the beta version for iPhone. You just need Test Flight. Yeah. So Test Flight is like essentially a separate download. And then within it, there's instructions on our website in terms of getting it in there. Yeah.
What is the website, Miles?
Yeah, selleramp.com. Nice and easy right there.
Perfect.
Yeah. Make sure to get a free trial while you're at it. Anyone watching on the replay.
So what is, if someone goes to the SellerAmp website, maybe talk about that a little bit, or we could even pull it up here.
Yeah.
Just kind of show what's available.
Yeah. So we got 3 tools, 1 product. So as we've just taken a look at, so we got the Chrome extension and then the web app, which took a quick look at, and then the mobile app in terms of for our retail arbitrage, just scanning stuff and around the house or whatever on that. Yeah. So Chrome extension, web app, mobile app right here. Free trial. We have the most basic version, $17 a month, supported, all over the world and everything like that. Then we got some of this other stuff going on. But yeah, the big part, my favorite feature is definitely the reverse sourcing, because that's what I did prior to even knowing about it. Just made it much easier in my sales to have reflected that in terms of the growth over the 7 or so months I've been hip to it.
What would you say, there's a lot of other similar softwares, right? What would you say that SellerAmp's advantages over competitors?
Yeah, so I think definitely like constantly making updates to it and everything like that, and the all-in-one nature, in that we got the profit calculator, we got the reverse sourcing feature, the mobile app, kind of just like all-in-one solution for, even less than Keepa essentially. And then we got some other stuff in the pipeline definitely for updates on it. The development guys are excited about.
For sure. So when you source, do you source every day? How many days a week? What's your source?
So over half my spend is on replens these days, but I obviously needed a year and a half of working hard to get to that point, and everything. But yeah, I do a lot of pretty much daily calls with students sourcing together on stuff. So yeah, I got pretty much every day. Yeah, definitely. So, and in many cases, multiple times a day. Yeah.
So are you going to familiar websites, looking at familiar things? Are you reverse sourcing, a little bit of both?
Yeah, so exclusively reverse sourcing outside of big sale times. Okay. So right now there's a Nike.com sale. So you best believe I'm going in there and taking a look at different stuff. We can even pull that up just to show an example right here. So we come to sale right here. We'll do women's clothing right here. Check this out. If we go here, right, double click, SaaS search, we can pull up this item right here on the website. And then take a look at some of these different items that come up. When there's a match, obviously, in this case, I doubt this is even listed on Amazon. If we pull up something super basic right here, let's do lowest tie, find something super basic. Yeah, here we go. So if we double click SaaS search right here, a lot of people don't know about this. It pulls up the listings right here, and I'm sure this variation is listed on one of these right here. What about sourcing directly from website sales? Yeah, so it would be going in, just kind of clicking around different sites. The big thing is just, you have to think of who the Amazon customer is. It's the most basic, American that just wants the black and white, the gray, the most basic colors, the most basic sizes. That tends to be what's good. You can obviously get fancy in terms of looking at specific sites, but it's mainly just kind of having an eye for what's most common. And in the categories I operate in, that's typically pretty convenient because it's just typically color based. There's not a ton of variations of different pairs of shoes, but the colors are the ones that, the more basic colors tends to be the ones moving more often. But yeah, almost exclusively reverse sourcing. But when there's sales, it is oftentimes checking out here. And then from let's say these slides, going to this slide listing on Amazon, there's a good chance these were originally sourced from Nike.com, taking a look at the catalog, even just for inspiration of other people that have been moving this for a while. Good rule of thumb on Keepa right here as well, scrolling down, if you go to data and then offers right here, you can filter to, once this loads right here, Wi-Fi's got the pressure on it. You can scroll over here when you see first seen, filter top to bottom, and you can see who's been on listings the longest as well. And you can see if someone was first seen on it 9 months ago and they have a decent buy box share, we know they're making money on it. They're most likely replenishing it as well. And that's an extra good item we want to take a look at by seeing if there's people who have a lot of reviews that have been on something for a while that have a decent amount of the buy box share too. Kind of keep a pro tip I didn't know about till a few months either, or I hadn't known about till a few months ago on that. Yeah, sourcing directly from websites. Yeah, almost exclusively reverse sourcing, because I have a lot of coupons I like to use. Almost everything I buy is with a coupon. So therefore, I don't really need sales and I can source every day on stuff. So it's more so reverse sourcing, finding Keepas that make sense for me, because I'm good at then finding those items on websites and lowering the buy cost on them via coupons on that.
So Miles, you shared the other day on Twitter a little video with that double click
Yeah,
SAS
SAS search. Yeah. Yeah.
That was, I started doing it right away. I'd never done that.
Yeah.
And super powerful when you're on a website. And, you know, of course, some stuff doesn't match, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Oh, naturally. And that's actually a good thing. Yeah. Cause you don't want
yeah.
stuff to be like, you want stuff that's hard to find because you're rewarded with longevity and replenishability on it.
Yes. But, you know, and that works on any site. It's super cool.
Yeah.
A really good feature.
Got a, oops, my bad. On that, this is Game Changer. This is the main way I use SellerAmp Game Changer. Yeah, yeah, the SAS search right there. Absolutely, yeah. Rank too high on this, easily disqualify it right here on that. Just kind of moving.
So with your, you know, you sell a lot of shoes and clothing. We sell a little bit, not a whole lot. What, you know, people ask a lot of questions about ranks within clothing, ranks within shoes, because I think either like, it seems like people sell a lot of that stuff or they don't sell it at all, but they're interested in it. So what are kind of your criteria for rank and sales volume and things like that when you're looking at, let's go with shoes first?
Yeah. So the initial reason why I love those categories is I come from that world. I naturally kind of have an eye for it, but either way, even if you don't, you can build one over time because Amazon gives us so much data available. What I love about these types of brands, Nike, Adidas, Converse, is they're some of the biggest brands in the world. So there's thousands of SKUs. Therefore, they're carried on hundreds of different websites, which drastically, one, they have great volume, and two, drastically increases my chance of being able to coupon them in some cases for multiple different sites at profitable buy costs right there. And there's variations, which draws away newer sellers, right? They're gated, which obviously it's easy to get them ungated, but draws away newer sellers that don't know how to do that. And then they're a higher ASP as well. Combined all that together, and it makes it typically a lack of competition on stuff, specifically the variation side of things, because some people just don't know how to do it, and pretty much anyone that does automatically only buys stuff with a giant ratings percentage within Kiva, which is absolutely not the way to do it. Which is many of the great shoe listings come from smaller percentage of ratings listings as well. But yeah, so it's mainly you know, coupons. I like to say 50K trailing, 90-day average is typically what I'll try to stay under. However, there's tons of stuff under 20K, even under 10K in some cases. That's where you can get a ton of volume in as well on that stuff.
For sure. I think a lot of people, you know, they'll pull up a shoe listing and there might be 20 different colorways and each colorway has 10 or 12 sizes and they just get very overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
So how do I know a size 9 in the black and red colorway sells or doesn't sell? Or, you know, that's kind of the question that we seem to get a lot. Just people unsure of if that specific size will actually sell or not.
Yeah. So sales rank, entire listing, every individual variation has its own Keepa chart. That's how you make an ultimate velocity decision off it.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And in terms of clothing, you do men's clothing, women's clothing.
Oh yeah.
Clothing,
anything.
Everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything that's good. I'll show a live example of how I break that down. So I'd hop in here, go to variations right here, filter top to bottom from the ratings percentage, because I'm going to assume that if this has 8% of the ratings right here, there's a good chance it's getting in the ballpark, the close vicinity of 8% of the sales. Therefore, we know that that one is moving the quickest compared to the others. However, if we go down here, a lot of people automatically discount stuff that's 1 or 2% of the ratings. But if we do click into this right here, we can then verify from the individual Keepa chart what the actual velocity is right here. And we can see this one, there just isn't a ton of other sellers selling it. Of course, it's not going to get a lot of sales if at some point in February, there was no one actually selling it. Like that's not realistic for it to have any sales when there's no supply on that. But if we go down here, I'd pull up one of the ones that has 8% of the ratings, right? We can take a look at the Keepa is going to have a lot more velocity right here compared to that other one. And it's had consistent supply, is actually moving a lot. In January, it looks like, with probably right around softball season coming up, the ranks going up a little bit right there, but it was as low as like in like the 30-40K range right there a little bit ago. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's I pretty much interesting. What's this? FBA fee unknown. Interesting. Yeah, must not be a ton of supply on this right here. I'll take a look, see if we can find these profitably. Right here, 50. Different listing right here. We'll SAS search these though, because I kind of got a good feeling about it. And we see also this coupon code in action. Yeah, there it is, score 20. So if there's ever a time to be sourcing on Nike.com, this would be it. This would be one of them, right? Right here. right there. So yeah, that's a lot of my thoughts around sourcing OA, SellerAmp, reverse sourcing, all that kind of stuff. We love to talk and tweet about all day. It was good to kind of get after a little bit on the Zoom here. But yes, that's a decent overview of SellerAmp and everything that goes in. I'd love to, if you got any other questions to grill me with, happy to continue to chop it up here.
Yeah. Just real quick, and for people listening, on Zoom or on Facebook, we got, about another 15 to 20 minutes here. So go ahead and get your questions in, Miles. We'll get to all those. A lot of talk, a lot of people, maybe concerned with the economy, where things are headed, how things are going. What are your thoughts personally? What are you doing in your business with that in mind? Or are you doing just kind of the same stuff?
Yeah, honestly, a lot of the same stuff. I'm confident that like my skill will continue to increase quicker than macro trends could happen naturally, because I'm always trying to learn, always trying to meet new sellers. And when you put yourself out there, like I'm sure you guys have learned, from tweeting more, from having this group and everything, opportunity comes and finds you when you build up goodwill with other people and everything. So I'm confident my skill and hope my skill will outpace my the any macro trends that could potentially happening on that. How do you plan / prep for Q4? I love that question as well. A lot of just doing what I do now, definitely some buying ahead on stuff, but I'm a big fan of kind of adopting the same model the whole way through, because anything that's good now, it's probably just going to be better during Q4 and everything. And a lot of merch filling, because what a lot of people do is they get Black Friday, Christmas sale buy costs, and they wait till January to FBA when everyone else is. But I'll just be saddling in merch to fill. Like I probably made like 20 grand profit off Black Friday buys in like the week after. Like it's when you can merch fill, like you can just operate with such speed on stuff.
Well, you, let's say you have a replen, right? And maybe you sell 50 a month normally, you buy 50, 100 at a time. Because if you're going into Q4, will you buy more than your normal 50? Will you buy 60, 75, or will you keep it the same with your buys?
Yeah. So honestly, I wish I had a good formula that I wish it was that simple, or at least I haven't made it that simple. But yeah, definitely got to be buying till it hurts. Yeah. As you guys clearly do from the bars you guys have. I know you guys do too. Okay. What elevated your coupon search game? That's a very good question. It is incredibly hard to answer. A lot of the coupons I do are either like really hard to find, or they're like email sign up or new account sign up coupons. And I've like catch all set up, which I don't know if anyone's familiar with, is basically you can search, it's catch all one word. You can find there's lots of tutorials out there. It's basically an infinite email generator. So you can get tons of new accounts, tons of 10% off email coupons, all that kind of stuff.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Where can everybody find you?
Yes, you can find our tool, selleramp.com, on that. And you can find me, Flips the number 4 miles, on all platforms, chopping it up on the timeline with everyone and all that. YouTube 3 times a week, podcast, Buy Box Bandits episode, which we have a long overdue episode with you guys. Thanks for having me on as well, but we'll have to get that. And do you have a spend goal per month? Yes. Do you mind sharing? Yeah. So it's honestly, this month is my best month ever from a spend perspective. I'm at like 205 this month on it. On right. And the prep center was really helpful with that. But typically a typical month, like averages around to like 130-ish, but that should be increasing, to be honest, just because with this stuff, it's so scalable. As you build confidence and you find good listings, you get better. You can then buy more of stuff, and naturally your output increases. You buy more of stuff because you have more capital available, and your knowledge grows. So therefore your business grows too.
As you increase that, a lot of people, have questions about cash flow and loans and things like that. Do you utilize any Amazon loans, other kind of loans like that? What's your solution to some of the cash flow issues that people, come to with buying inventory?
Yeah. So if you're not doing any merch filling, there's a good chance some of your catalog you can and you should, especially if that's an issue, as well as getting really detailed on statement due dates of credit cards. For example, my Capital One Spark, the statement ends the 24th. However, the payment isn't due till the 20th of the next month. So money I spent the 23rd is due August 20th, but money I spent the 25th isn't due till September 20th. So really getting dialed in on all that kind of stuff. Another good question that came in: how do you get around purchase quantities with OA? You operate in high ASP categories, and you buy from some websites at least that don't limit you, and you go to war with them if they do order cancel you.
For sure. Do you do anything special with I know a lot of people VPNs or certain things. Do you do anything like that, or you just try to mimic a normal buyer?
Yeah, typically mimicking normal buyer, getting creative with emails, addresses, phone numbers, that kind of stuff is the main thing. And then honestly, what a lot of these websites are scared of is just fraud. You know what I mean? So you got to warm up accounts. Like you can't ask her to marry her on the first date. You got to place a $100 order, and then a few hours later, the next day, a $300, and work yourself up and test it out. But I've also always been deep in the community, so I have so much crowdfunded info. And that comes from putting myself out there and making friends. That's made a lot of those processes easier as well. Any tips for starting to raise your ASP? Yeah. Honestly, it's more so, it's all about the products you're selling. You know what I mean? It really comes down to it. And that it would be incredibly hard to have a $70 ASP if you're selling a lot of beauty stuff. And it's incredibly hard to have a 20 ASP if you're selling shoes. So it's ultimately all around the product catalog you're carrying.
Do you ever have like, I know specifically with like shoes, people are afraid of returns and things like that. Is there a like raw dollar amount of profit you won't go under based on returns?
Yeah, it's like tough to go under 30-35% ROI with shoes, just because naturally you're going to get a disproportionate amount of returns compared to other types of products. However, for that very reason, you're rewarded with replenishability and a lot of long-term finds on the shoe side of things, because of all the reasons prior mentioned with ASP, coupons, variations, all that kind of stuff. Thoughts when people say tours are seasonal Q4? Yeah, I actually really do agree. I know there's some people that are doing a lot of buy and hold action where some stuff hits during the summer and everything, but I'm a quick mover. So I would consider toys mostly Q4 seasonal.
For sure. Perfect. Yeah, we'll go just a couple more minutes here. Less than 5 minutes. Got any questions? Throw them in here to Miles.
Good stuff.
Miles, your podcast, I've listened to a lot of different episodes. Maybe kind of tell people what's on there. I know there's a lot of people always asking in the group, hey, what are good podcasts to listen to? Like, what are some of the things you cover, guests you bring in, things like that?
Yeah, so it's the Buy Box Bandits. We've been running for 10 months. We have, I think, 71 episodes. We typically post every Wednesday, which we've been lacking on as the last month or so, but we have 70 episodes. We used to be twice a week. Now it's mostly one a week. I think we did 2 last week, but yeah, so it just, at the start, we did a lot of like all types of Amazon private label, especially. We don't really do many private label sellers anymore, just because we kind of dialed in that like resellers mainly want to listen to resellers and everything. So it's a lot of arbitrage, wholesale. The other guys have good networks that I do it with and everything. So we get a lot of cool guests on that do this stuff. Everything. Yeah. So it's mostly arbitrage sellers, wholesale, OA, RA, people we've met, interesting stories, all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Well, Alexis says we're all caught up on Facebook, so nothing there. Miles, we really appreciate your time. Thank you for showing us around SellerAmp. It's a really exciting software that's, gotten a lot of buzz lately and a lot of questions. So it was nice to go through some of the features and let people see what it's all about.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you guys. 100%. This is definitely a good time. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Sarah. Absolutely. Alexa, my pleasure on that. And yeah, everyone watching this, I know it's going to be on my stuff as well. So feel free, if you haven't already, make sure to get a free trial of SellerAmp and all that. Subscribe, check out these. It's the Village FBA, right? And I'll your Twitter will get linked up in there. Yeah. So Steven likes the French right there. Make sure to check them out and all that. But thanks a lot, guys. Really, really appreciate it. And hope we can do this sometime later in the year, early next year, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.